Previously on the Bear Whisperer.
One more fight call, pretending like we're another bear, actually, with the same, kind of speaking her language. Here she comes again. We had a phone call from New Brunswick, which is essentially looking for us to come up there and take care of a bear. So I get on the call again. Well, here he comes. He's coming right back, just like I knew he would. He's a little more cautious this time. I'm just hoping to get a shot. Stuff only happened to me. So I get on the call again. Well, here he comes. He's coming right back, just like I knew he would. He's a little more cautious this time. I'm just hoping to get a shot. The Conquest scent stick worked exactly as planned. That bear actually stopped and started licking the rock. That's why when you're calling and you're hunting with a bow, if you can legally find something to stop that bear, I don't care if it's a jelly cream donut, a scent, anything. We could have theoretically used bait, but we decided to use just the Conquest scent stick. If you can use something to stop that bear, to get that bear's interest, to get his nose to the ground so he's not looking around anymore, that would be ideal to give you a good, clean, ethical shot, just like the one that I had, quartered away a little bit.
And believe me, I love these creatures. I want to say this. I respect them. They're the most beautiful things in the world. And I'm up here in New Brunswick. There's been a nasty bear in this area. And they asked me if I would call him. I'm using the new switchblade. I got about half the arrow in this bear, and I was just scared. But when that switchblade opens up, man, it just tears him up inside. I might have actually went right through that bear's shoulder. I was trying to get that crease right there, but oh, man, I'm just torn up. Knowing that this bear was mean, knowing that if they don't come to calls real easy like coyotes and other bobcats and stuff, but if a bear is dominant, aggressive, they will absolutely, positively come into these calls. And that guy came in and he was sneaking around, sniffing, looking. I am still whispering, even though I hate the whispering because I want to be sure that he expired. We heard the death moan. So you got to be out like 100% almost. But incredible. What an awesome afternoon.
dude. So what made this hunt successful? Going into it, just like when you're hunting a big buck, knowing a big buck is there before you're hunting it, going into it, we knew we had a bear that liked meat. He wasn't eating forage, he was taking down animals, so we already knew we had a bear that was going to come into the call. Number two, the perfect area. We had a rock that was about 15 feet tall where we couldn't have a bear come in behind us, so we were perfectly safe. We had an area where in New Brunswick, again, you can't go a mile, and if you look hard enough, you'll find a spot where a guide used to bait. Well, we were familiar with the area. We knew that guides baited in this area, and we had a perfect spot that was pre-cleared out. It was blatantly pre-cleared out because we're in the middle of the deep, deep forest. We're 125 yards off the road, and there was this one area about 30 feet round where you can kind of tell someone went in there previously, cut down all the big bushes, so we had a perfect spot to hunt the bear. And maybe one of the most important things is having the right gear. The QAD Ultra Rest, wooden trail, oak sturdy, bow shield, the Conquest Sense, of course, the UDAP bear pepper spray, keep ourselves protected at all times. The list just goes on and on, but equipment is a very important thing. Confidence in your equipment, and I only use the best. We finally had our first hunt in the east, the northeast actually. We're actually in New Brunswick. We got the phone call, we ran up here. You can see how beautiful it is here. I mean, just look behind me. It's truly, truly unbelievable. As you can see here, this is not the biggest bear walking around the New Brunswick woods. We were there for one purpose, and that was to take this bear out. It made no difference how big or small he was. He ended up being about 3.5 years old, 225 pounds. But that being said, we weren't trophy hunting. This bear was dangerous, and maybe one of the most important things is it put food on the table. It put some great meat on the table for me and my cameraman that week. Now, before we leave the spring bear hunting season, I just want to show you something real quick, and it involves Luminox. The Luminox are way more valuable than people even realize. When you watch a Luminox fly, besides knowing exactly where the impact point was, which I could actually see after shooting my bow, you can see if your bow's in tune. After this hunt, we get back to camp and we're watching the video, we can see without a shadow of a doubt that my bow is so far from crackerized, it needed to be shipped to Mike Carter. He does all my bows now. I don't do a bow without it being crackerized. But you can see this arrow flight, and you can see that my bow was so out of tune. I just kind of put everything together and tried to tune it myself. You can see it's out of tune because of the Luminox, only because of the Luminox. If the Luminox wasn't attached, I wouldn't have had two thoughts about it. But going back and seeing the video, watching the video back in camp, I can see the Luminox watching in slow motion. My arrow is waggling. Even at 20 yards, it's got a shimmer, a shake, a waggle. That's a really, really bad sign. You should use Luminox when you're just tuning your bow, because you can see here that my bow is so out of tune. It did the job, but it didn't do the job as good as it could have if I would have noticed that beforehand, which I did not, obviously, just how far out of tune my bow was. Well, after calling bears in the spring, British Columbia, New Brunswick, after we're all done calling bears, it was time for me to hop on an airplane and fly to Alaska.
Morning. How you doing this morning? We're going bear hunt. Yeah.
rolling? We running, Jay?
We're rolling.
To Alaska, baby.
Welcome to Alaska.
Alaska was probably the biggest hunt that we were absolutely pumped up to do. We're hunting from a yacht where, you know, we got binoculars. We're in the most scenic place maybe in the entire world, and we get to see it all from the ocean. We're 125 miles out in the ocean. It just does not get any better. One bummer. There was only one bummer about the whole trip. My Winchester bow, my Quicksilver 31, black killer, killing machine, did not show up in time for me to leave Alaska. Johnny did everything he could to try to get me this bow in time, and it just didn't make it. So I'm off to Alaska without my Winchester bow. And to be completely honest with you, if I don't have my Winchester bow, I don't want to shoot any bow. So I grabbed my CVA muzzleloader. I was kind of pumped because I realized I did not have to get within 40 or 50 yards of a bear, because my Winchester bow, I'm absolutely comfortable shooting 40 to 50 yards, that I had to be within 250 yards comfortably with the CVA muzzleloader. Day one, we get there, and we actually really don't even go to shore, but we are seeing bears everywhere. On the mountains, on the beaches. We did one little sit. We actually went to shore where there were no bears and kind of sat there and just waited for one to come out on the beach.
Was absolutely right coming over here. I'll show you down in a minute. This grass is all snipped down. All the top leafy stuff, which is the blade stuff in the grass right below me, is all snipped down. The bears have come in here and eaten it. Remember, there's no whitetail. The bears have come in here and literally eaten this down like it was a food plot. So, absolutely right. Bears will be here tonight. But I'm gonna be a little bit more choosy in Alaska. So.
None came out. One thing that we did get to watch all afternoon, for some reason it didn't move, and I guess it's a fairly rare sight, that's what my cameraman tells me anyway, is this golden eagle just sitting on this perch and sat there and just checked us out the whole time. Believe me, we were completely busted by this golden eagle. Nothing showed up that night. We went back, we got the 2 hours worth of sleep. There's only like 2 or 3 hours of darkness there, and then back up the next day. Well, on day two, it was on. We started hunting from probably 5 a.m. all the way to midnight, all the way to 1 in the morning. It just doesn't get dark in Alaska. So on day two, we see this beach about a mile off, and we don't see anything but black spots all over this beach. We know there's a ton of bears in this big field coming off this beach. So we decided to go to shore with the Zodiac and see if we can't get on these bears, to see if there's any bears big enough. This is my first trip to shore, so I'm kind of pumped. Well, sure enough, when we turn the corner, we see an absolute giant. He's got to be 500-600 pounds, 7 foot plus, and I have my CVA in my hand. I know it's day two, really day one for us, and my hunt's about to be over. This is going to be a monster bear. Definitely a good bear on this beach over here. It's wide open. That's probably the biggest issue we're having right now, is it's wide open. We're not sure how we're going to get to it, but we are going to get to it somehow. So at the very least, you're going to see this bear run for all it's got. If not, we have 2 bears up on this hillside, which I can break those pines and shoot one right there. And that's
Insurance bears.
Insurance bears. We got insurance bears. So in the next 10 minutes of you watching this program, I am going to kill a bear. So hold on, don't go anywhere. This bear's going to be tough to get, to be honest with you. I don't think Well, we get up there, and I soon realized that this is not going to be as easy as I thought it was. These bears are so keen to human scent. These bears are so keen to being something wrong. A lot of these bears have never seen a human being before. So the second you walk into their area, driving the boat even, if the wind's not perfect, and I mean absolutely perfect, you are done. And we find this out in a hurry. We get up on this bank, the whole time the wind's perfect. I think it's over. I got my CVA up. Jason's on the bear. I'm looking at this absolute giant, about to shoot the biggest bear I've ever shot in my life, and the wind blows wrong. Not completely wrong, just a little wrong. And this great big monster of a 500-600 pound bear starts just galloping through the field. Well, once he starts galloping, the other 10 bears on this one beach, they all start getting very alert. They all start leaving. The whole situation was a complete eye-opener. I realized that even with the CVA, it's not going to be as easy as I thought it was going to be. Initially, going to a beach and seeing my first beach having 10, 12 bears on it. So on day 3, first thing in the morning, first stock in the morning, I'm up. All kinds of other guys have already been to shore. Doc had tagged out. People are tagging out left and right.
Let's take her home and eat some backstraps tonight.
We walked over this bear. The thing had a noggin like a Volkswagen on it. Unbelievable, gorgeous, gorgeous coat.
So we get in the Zodiac, and I had spotted this bear, I don't know, again, a mile away. And even at a mile, you get used to, in a hurry, just how big these bears are.
All right, well, we're on the boat, and we spotted a bear on this beach, and we are officially putting a spot and stalk on this bear. We can't talk too loud. Once we hit the beach, there'll be no more talking. We got the CVA. We're good out to about 250 with the Nikon scope and the CVA combo. And with any luck, we're going to be able to beach this thing, stay out of sight, and put a stalk on him. So get ready, it's on. I'm not exactly prepared to hunt, but I do have the CVA with